Good morning. I'm Mike, and this morning we'll do a 30-minute yoga practice. It's a little earlier. I've already done my morning type routine, except for getting showered and dressed for work, my massage job right now, and try to make some more time to do yoga in the morning. Even if you feel a little less flexible in the morning, it's always good to get some movement before dawn, I think, because that sets the pace, and also you do feel better later on during the day. If you wait too late to start getting moving, you can feel kind of sluggish, and maybe it's still beneficial, but it's not the same as when you start in the morning time. So we can start today seated, noticing our posture. Taking some breaths. Well, we'll start with some gratitude prayer. Do some movements for about 15-20 minutes, and then finish with 10 minutes of Zen type meditation. So let's find ourselves on the ground here, the mat, feeling the sit bones, rooted down. Noticing the shoulders, relaxing them down and back. Bracing the core a little bit so that we can open up our upper body and brace the lower body a bit. Improving the posture. Then just take some deep breaths, filling the chest cavity. Feeling that we're rooted down here. As we prepare for the new day, we can experience gratitude with a prayer, or what's in the form of a prayer. And this is kind of an old school King James version, Christian prayer with some old school words like thy and hallowed and all these things. However, I'm just going to use the same prayer because it's easier, with my brain cells first thing in the morning. I'm not going to try to convert it to modern day words right now. The importance is to perhaps recite this prayer, feeling gratitude, and preparing for the day, knowing that there's a higher power with us in our daily experiences. So you can listen or say it with me. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. We can start in the standing posture, coming towards the front part of the mat, moving into mountain pose, taking a few breaths, feeling the feet rooted down. Doing some forward folds, inhaling and raising the arms, exhaling and folding, hinging from the hip. We'll do this a few times. Inhaling, reaching overhead, and exhaling, folding. Feeling the stretch along the back of the neck. A deep breath, inhaling, reaching, exhaling, and folding. One more fold. Returning to mountain pose. Relaxing the shoulders back and down. The feet planted around the edges of the feet, all along the soles. This time we'll move into some sun salutation, vinyasa movements. Inhaling, raising the arms overhead, reaching through the fingertips, and exhaling, folding. Raising up a bit with a flat back, and placing the hands, stepping back into plank. Lowering down, exhaling. And we can lower down all the way to the ground. Inhaling, raising into a cobra type posture. Breathing and releasing into the lower rib cage. The abdomen getting a little bit of a stretch, exhaling, lowering. Now we'll go on to the knees and hands. This is a bit of a modified sun salutation, vinyasa. Press back into downward facing dog with the feet. Taking a few more breaths here. Then stepping forward, both feet at the hands, extending through the back and exhaling, folding. Inhaling, raising up through the fingertips. And then we'll go right back into the other side, exhaling, folding. Inhaling, looking up with a flat back. And exhaling, stepping back into plank and lowering down to the ground. Inhaling into cobra. Exhaling, lowering. Coming into downward facing dog, or first on the hands and knees, and then pressing back. Taking a few breaths. Stepping forward, both feet. Extending through the top of the head, flat back, and exhaling, folding. Inhaling, raising the arms overhead again, and then exhaling into mountain pose. Reaching through the fingertips and breathing deeply. We could stay here for a moment. Let's step back with one leg. I'll start with this side so that you can see. We're going to bend the front knee, moving into warrior one. So front knee is kind of over that front ankle, and the back foot is kind of a 45 degrees. We can kind of move our hips toward the front to notice that sensation. It's a little different than having it less engaged. And raising the arms overhead. Perhaps bringing the palms together. So I'm moving my biceps toward my ears and keeping the shoulders kind of down and away from the ears. Right now it's kind of tight on me. Move to where you will. Bringing the hands to the sides, stepping forward to mountain. And moving into warrior one on the opposite side. Taking a breath, raising the arms overhead, breathing through the pose. Final movement there, engaging and stepping forward again into mountain. This time we can move into a triangle pose, stepping back again with the opposite leg, but this time instead of bending the knee, we can have it extended in the front. Both legs kind of a micro bend in the knee, but extended, raising the arms to the sides, facing the side, and then lowering down, hinging forward towards triangle pose. Gazing up at the upper thumb. Turning to standing to the beginner part of that triangle posture and switching the feet. We can do work on the other side. Taking a breath and extending the arms. Exhaling, hinging forward towards that front foot or front shin or the floor. And then looking up towards the thumb. Turning to the top. Let's move into side standing straddle. So we're going to bring facing the side of the mat, and our toes are pointed towards the side. We can extend, opening the chest, taking a few breaths here. And exhaling, folding forward at the hips, reaching our fingertips or our palms towards the mat. Letting the back of the head, the neck stretch and lengthen. Inhaling and raising back up. And this time you can remain where you are, but we can clasp our hands behind like this, rolling the shoulders back and extending back to wherever it's comfortable. And folding forward if it's an option. Taking a few breaths here. Bring up that rotator cuff. And then releasing. Let's move down towards the mat. Inhaling, taking a stretching the fingertips towards the sky, and exhaling, folding down. Inhaling up with a flat back and stepping into plank and lowering down to the mats. This time we'll press back up into child's pose. So we've got our hips moving towards the ankles and extending the arms forward, placing the forehead against the ground. I just realized we didn't do any balancing poses, but we'll move right towards the ground here. From this posture, we can find a seated position any way we'd like. And we'll move into a twist first, and moving the opposite heel towards the opposite sit bone. And then that other foot across the top of the other knee. Extending through the spine, using a little bit of guidance, not really pulling, but just placing there and keeping some tension. A little bit of force if necessary. Placing the other arm behind and then twisting the torso towards that raised knee. Focusing more on breathing deeply down to the base of the back. And then extending up through the spine into the back, into the top of the head. Twisting gently. With each breath, releasing. Now we can move to the other side. An opposite heel against the other sit bone. And then the other foot across the top of the other knee. Planted against the mat. I'm more concerned with feeling release along, for instance, the thighs or even the abs, and through the back, extending and breathing, than I am just trying to make it look like I'm twisting. I'd rather have more lengthened back and really breathe into releasing some of this muscles and other structures. Now, releasing the legs, we can come into a Shavasana pose or a meditative seated posture. If you choose to lie down, we can extend the arms and legs and allow the back of the head to rest against the mat. We can remain here, or for today, you can also find a seated posture for meditation, 10 minutes. I'm going to use the Insights timer app. I got set for 10 minutes here. It'll give a beginning chime and then an ending 3 chimes. Go for the kind of half Burmese type supported posture. And we'll spend about 10 minutes in silent meditation. Turning back into the awareness of the room. We can end by bringing our hands to the heart area, being grateful and ready for the day. Namaste.